It's time to scout forth with Merrimack Canoes and Sanborn's painted paddles. Handcrafted in the Midwest, let the sawdust fly. Beautiful works of functional art. Adventure awaits on Made for the Outdoors.
People are passionate about outdoor equipment. Get this, Americans spend more than $20 billion a year on gear. But no one ever really sees how their stuff gets made.
Well, that's where we come in. Each week, we throw open the factory doors and give you a behind-the-scenes look at how your favorite gear is made.
Made for the outdoors.
North to south, the Mississippi River stretches 2,340 miles. Listen. Adventure seekers, the river calls your name. And paddling is the perfect way to explore the backwaters. And one cool stop along the river is Winona, Minnesota, home to Merrimack Canoes and Sanborn Canoe Company. Let's see how their products are made for the outdoors. Every Merrimack canoe is handmade by a small team of skilled craftsmen. Merrimack Canoe, founded in 1954, is one of the oldest boat builders in the paddling industry. L.H. Beach established this company out in New Hampshire. Last year, Sanborn Canoe Company acquired the business and moved it to the small river city, Winona.
We're a block from the river, so it's a perfect spot to have our shop. And yeah, the paddling culture in Winona and Minnesota specifically is really good.
This paddling culture isn't new. Canoes have been around since the 1700s. Their purpose? A mode of transportation. Native Americans would dig out birchwood trees and use canoes for fishing and selling during the fur trade. Birchwood was replaced by wood and canvas, and then by contemporary lightweight materials. This is the classic 16-foot Prospector, made of a fiberglass, Kevlar, and carbon fiber hull, with a cherry-ribbed interior. Perfect for a week-long adventure on the Mississippi. Merrimack Canoe Company builds their boats from the outside in.
We take great pride in the craftsmanship of each of our products. Our paddles are handmade, our canoes are handmade. In terms of actual hands-on time spent with a canoe, it's 25 to 30 hours.
This mold is 16 feet long and 14 inches deep. The gel coat is sprayed first.
Gel coat is like paint, but not quite. It's thicker, it has a resin in it, so it has an activator too, so it's time sensitive. Once you mix it up, you probably have 20-25 minutes before it starts to kick on you and harden. So once you start a boat, you gotta finish a boat.
Composite goes over the gel coat. Ron cuts the fabric, while Greg mixes the resin. Together, they perform the layup. The resin makes this process time sensitive. Fiberglass, resin, Kevlar, resin, and carbon fiber secured with more resin.
We do that with a vinyl ester resin. Vinyl ester is a little bit better than epoxy as far as UV resistance and for marine use, so that's why we're using vinyl ester.
So you get the benefits of each type of fabric, but then when they're put together, they make for a really, really strong hull and lightweight.
What's cool about canoes is, in some ways, they've virtually stayed unchanged for hundreds of years. These ribs are the perfect example.
We put in what is really our trademark, and that's the ribs.
It looks like a classic canoe from 100 years ago.
Todd's dad, Ron, is helping install the compression jig. This keeps the ribs in place while the resin dries. We're making our own little rib cage. It feels exactly like it. This will then sit under this pressure for about an hour until it dries. Now that it's dry,
We're going to put another coat of resin on what they call the football of the canoe, just because it's the area where you walk the most, it gets the most use. It'll just give it a little bit extra protection.
so that's our final step with the resin.
Yep, now we need to let it sit overnight and dry, and tomorrow morning we'll pop it out of the mold.
That's next on Made for the Outdoors.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Magnum Research, Otter Outdoors, Ice Castle Fish Houses, Banks Outdoors, and by Walden's.
Look at the list of the people who have visited Merrimack Canoe Company in Winona, Minnesota. So this is a little bit of a rite of passage around here?
Yeah. Well, so it's sort of our guest book. Everybody who visits our shop has to throw 3 darts.
Okay.
No warm-ups, no redos. Whatever you get's what you got.
And you have to stand
Stand
here?
right here, yep. That's your spot.
No pressure. Oh my God. Yes, I hit the board. Look at dart 1.
That actually isn't the
17.
worst dart 1 ever.
I'm just happy I hit the board. Made for the Outdoors is on the Wall of Fame. And each of these names has a story tied to a canoe. This small business ships boats all over the United States. Time now to get back to our Prospector build.
Well, the Prospector is a traditional Canadian-style canoe. It's a style where it's good to load up a lot of weight into it. You can carry a lot of gear with it.
Up until this point, the team works blindly, not knowing what the exterior of the canoe looks like. More?
Keep going. It seems like every time we pull a canoe out, which happens 2 days a week, everybody gathers around.
So this is where it gets exciting. Come on, guys, let's go. Oh, oh yeah. So this is also our first look at the color. We've got the white canoe, and then this has the Sanborn look on it. Love this one, and this is actually gonna be the one that we complete. Now on to woodworking.
So when we lifted that hull out this morning, it probably weighed about 25, 26 pounds. And then when you get done with the woodwork, it's gonna be about 47, 48 pounds.
The gunnels, decks, and handles are all crafted of cherry or ash.
Here at Merrimack, we do it kind of in a one-step process where we connect the in-wales to the deck itself and make a football shape. Basically brace that in place, and then we'll be putting on the outwales in a one-step process. This adds rigidity to the boat and of course makes it look really nice.
Next door to finishing, the seats are hand-woven by Todd's dad, Ron.
When I first started, about an hour and 15 minutes, now it's about 35. I've gotten a little better.
Ron's works of art are then fastened into place along with the yokes. During finishing, flotation is added, the canoe gets oiled, and given its name. And the final touch is every canoe gets this Merrimack Canoe brass medallion. What an awesome color scheme. The finished canoe weighs 57 pounds. And while she looks beautiful here, this is where she belongs. The backwaters of the Mississippi provide endless opportunities to explore. The Prospector is made by paddlers, for paddlers.
It has a really traditional look to it, but then beyond that, you put it on the water, you put it on your shoulders, and it performs beautifully. So I like that it's that combination of tradition, natural beauty, but also function.
Part of the whole trademark is making the canoe look really nice with all the fine woodwork we do at the end.
The canoe and paddle are pretty much like the perfect marriage. Husband and wife, except neither talk back. If the Merrimack Canoe is the husband, then the Sanborn paddle is the wife. We'll have her story next on Made for the Outdoors.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Topper Easy Lift, AQUARIUS Home Services, Mulching Mania, Mid-Soda Trailer Manufacturing, and by Central Boiler.
Paddlers can visit 10 different states along the Mississippi River, starting with Minnesota.
So we are in Winona, Minnesota, right along the Mississippi River, tucked in the bluffs of southeastern Minnesota.
When it comes to outdoor gear, painted paddles have stood the test of time. People have painted paddles as long as they have made them. Dating back to the fur trade, they truly are a work of art. And I just love this paddle, functional and beautiful, also crafted by Sanborn Canoe Company.
We didn't start painting paddles until we took a trip to Voyageurs National Park in northern Minnesota and saw paintings of the Voyageurs, and they painted their paddles.
Sanborn Canoe Company not only handcrafts paddles, but canoes as well.
We take great pride in the craftsmanship of each of our products. Our paddles are handmade, our canoes are handmade. We make them in small batches, so there's a lot of attention paid to each paddle.
The company was founded in 2010.
Well, when we started, it wasn't going to be a business. It was just for fun. So to see what it's turned into is kind of crazy.
Now, business is booming in Winona, Minnesota, in the same building as Merrimack Canoes. Sanborn Canoes is the parent company, founded by Todd Randall and his cousin, Zach Fellman.
I think it adds to the atmosphere here. Like, everybody's comfortable, you know? Like, it's a really laid-back, fun environment.
Sanborn makes two different lines of paddles. We have our wilderness or performance line of paddles, and these are made for the outdoors, made for rigorous use. Fiberglass or carbon fiber on the blades that sets those apart. But then what we're making today is our other line, an artisan line. So this is a classic ottertail shaped paddle.
Today we're crafting the Dallas Des Morts paddle, and we need an assortment of lumber.
Cedar is featured prominently in every one of our paddles, and that's for a number of reasons. Chiefly, it's really light. And for its weight, it's really strong. It's also naturally rot resistant and really beautiful. And so between these things, it's the perfect wood for paddles. But it is a softwood, and so then we like to put in different hardwoods to kind of bring the strength level up. So we use aspen and walnut.
The majority of the wood is harvested in southeastern Minnesota. First, Mark handpicks the wood and cuts it to length. Next, he glues together the different pieces to create the shaft, grip, and blade.
We're gonna do the handle, so we'll grab 2 aspen pieces that are an 1/8 inch, 2 16th cedar, 2 walnut pieces.
Oh, it's getting thicker and thicker.
Yep.
Just all over?
Yep, put it all over.
More, or is that enough?
That should be good. And then take the pieces, rub them together so it's evenly spread. Yep.
Double check.
Yep. Then for the blades, we'll take some cedar and some walnut. We'll just put some glue on here. Line them up on the shaft.
And after the paddle is dry, it heads from Mark over to Chris for shaping and sanding. Hi, Chris.
All right, how's it going?
It's good. So what are we gonna do?
All right, so from this point here, we're gonna start the shaping process.
The table saw will taper the blade in a matter of seconds. Then the grip is shaped and measured for length.
These paddles are 58 inches long.
Chris, I don't know that there's anybody in the world who makes more paddles than Chris.
It's all fun. I don't dread Monday mornings. I look forward to them.
Soon shaping turns into sanding. Chris will use a planer and drum sander.
I love sanding on the drum, so that's fun and enjoyable.
And I wanted to make a little sawdust swirl too. Let's hope the nails are still intact after this.
And you want to do a nice line, a soft touch, and keep going, spinning the paddle around.
Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing. Am I doing anything? I've got a rough touch. Okay, I gotta smooth it out. Silky smooth.
You did good. Natural, so.
Be honest.
You didn't wreck anything, so.
Look at these cool color schemes. Find out which one we choose for Made for the Outdoors next.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Appledorn's Resort. Select Minnesota GMC dealers. Powers Machining Incorporated. And by Minnesota Horse and Hunt Club.
Hey there, I'm Bill Shirk.
And I'm Lindsay Hayes.
If you're a fan of Made for the Outdoors and want to know more about upcoming episodes, be sure to like us on Facebook.
And also follow us on Instagram for cool behind-the-scenes looks at what we're working on.
And you know what? If you've got an idea for a show, be sure to drop us a note.
Welcome back to Sanborn Canoe Company, where our artisan paddle is coming to life.
So we're making the Dalles des Morts, which my pronunciation is terrible, but it's French for Rapids of Death, named after a particularly dangerous stretch of the Columbia River. And all of our paddles do have a story featured with the paint scheme.
Each paddle not only has a story, but is also the work of a proud craftsman.
Well, I think the coolest part of it is when I brand them, I put the C in it for Chris, and then I know I was the one who did it. I can go see paddles in stores and say, hey, that's mine, it's got a C in it, so.
There's a craftsman behind every paddle, and so we want for people to look at the paddle and know that there's a person behind it.
The ladies are in charge of branding the logo and oiling each of the paddles. And Allison, you had said this is one of your favorite parts?
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy seeing the wood come to life and seeing the grains shine through, so.
So you put 2 coats on here?
Yep, usually 2 coats and let it dry, and then it goes on to paint.
Zach is an artist. All he needs is spray paint and tape. First red, black, then yellow. The co-founder literally has painted so many paddles that he doesn't even need to measure anymore.
Well, I was a painting major in college, and I guess I paint lots of different things now, so it translated pretty good.
The final clear coat gives it its shine. Wow, what a work of art.
It's a functional piece of art.
It's awesome to use a paddle, dip it in the water that you made yourself.
It's fun to see people using them and just enjoying something we make.
It is baseball season, no? Home run. We hit a home run today. That's a wrap. You're watching Made for the Outdoors.